Now, let's make this form collapsible and create another form to update the data of the employee. So when you click on this add employee button, we are going to display this form, create a new employee, and when the user click on this update button, I'm going to display the update form with the employee value inside these text boxes. So I'm going to just back to the form.js, and inside this component, I'm going to create two files. First, for the add user, and so I'm going to name this file add user form.js, and I'm going to create another file and name this update user form.js. Now I'm going to copy all the code of this form and paste that inside both these files. Now inside this form, instead of all this data, now I can get this data from this add and this update form.js file. And I'm going to get rid of all the code from this form and get rid of this form reducer. Something like this. Now inside this form, just for now, I'm going to return this add user form. So let me just change this name of this default function. I'm going to say here add user form. Let me copy this and change this name as well. This became update user form. Save this file, back to the add user form. Save this file, back to the form. And here, let me get rid of all this import statement. And here I'm going to say import add user form. And then I'm going to copy this component. And inside the return statement, I'm just going to return that component. Something like this. You will have the same result. Back to the index.js, right up here. So if you create here constant, I'm going to say visible set visible is equal to use state. I'm going to call the React hook use state from the React library. So when I press enter, this will import this statement. And now I'm going to call this hook. And the default value of this hook is false. Just out of that, I'm using this visible property to toggle the form, this one. So I'm going to grab this form and specify that inside a curly braces. And here I'm going to say visible. If it is true, then display this form. Otherwise, don't want to display anything. So I'm just going to return here empty element. I wanted to change this value when we click on this add employee button. So to this add employee, I can create the onClick handler function. So at the top here, we need to say constant handler is equal to call here an handler function, something like this. Then specify here set visible is going to be true. Just out of that, to this button, we specify onClick handler, this function. So when you click on this add employee button, you will get your form. Back to the project, and now when you click on this add employee, you can see you're going to get your form. But now what if I click on this add employee again? This is not going to do anything. This is because we set this value to true. Now what I want, when the value of this state is true, and then if I click on the add employee button, I want to make this value false. So we can easily hide the form from the UI. So to do that, here inside this set visible, you can simply say here visible. If it is true, then return false or return true. Back to the project and click on the add employee. You can see I can toggle this form. This statement is a valid statement, but you can simplify this statement by adding exclamation mark to this visible. So instead of this statement, you can simply say here visible, and before this visible, you add exclamation mark, something like this. And now when you click on this add employee, you'll get the same result. Let's do the same thing for update form. So I'm going to back to the form.js, and here I'm going to create a simple variable. I'm going to say constant flag is equal to true. The default value of this flag is true right now. I'm going to change this flag value later in this course. Just for now, I'm going to leave these as it is. And here I'm going to say return. Now when the flag is true, I want to display the add user form. Otherwise, display this update user form. So inside this return statement, I'm going to create the wrapper first. So I'm going to grab this division tag right from here, this one, this container, grab it and specify that inside this form, something like this, and get rid of this division tag right from here. So you only have the form inside this index file. Save this file, back to the form, and here you have to say if the flag is true, then I'm going to print this add user form, or you can self close this component like this. And then if this flag is false, I'm going to import and display the update user form. So I'm going to copy this and paste that right here. Both forms are identical. So let me change a few things from the update form. So I'm going to back to the update form, scroll down, and instead of this add button, right now I'm going to change this to update. Then I'm going to change this plus icon, and I'm going to convert this icon to BI brush icon, this one. Don't forget to import this icon at the top. Right up here you have to import this icon like this. Save this file and back to the form. Now if I make this flag false, I'm going to get this update button. Let me change some styling of this update button. So I'm going to just back to the update button, and here instead of BG green, I'm going to specify here yellow, and this is going to be 400. Let me save this. Now you can see I'm going to have this update form. Now if you change this flag to true, you'll get add employee form. So using this technique, you can toggle between update and add new user